It's early morning, Monroe County. I'm the Philosopher Pirate, and this is Florida at Large. I've Happy New Year, by the way. It's a little after sunrise, New Year's Day, 2025. It's another one. Um, been suggesting in other videos that demonstrate coffee grinding roadside in a parking lot. Well, this is Roadside, overseas highway. You may hear the noise in the background. Uh, Light traffic this morning. It's New Year's Day. It's a national holiday. Anyways, hope all of you were able to ring in the new year fine. I'm going to demonstrate tech boondocking, stealth micro camping, grinding coffee. Now, many of you are probably not awake yet, a little groggy. What we have here is where my coffee. You can see I'm a little low. It's very apparent. What we're going to do is we're going to set everything aside, normally stored in this particular container, as I basically, this is not my preferred brand. Unfortunately, I was low in coffee, and in the Florida Keys, there's not a Sam's Club, so I was not able to. I like the French roast. Now, a little tip: not every Sam's Club has the same pricing. I have found the price varying by as much as $3. So I tend to buy my coffee beans in the Space Coast area. I believe it's Cocoa is the correct one. By the way, I'm going to grind all this coffee. These little things, I save these. They are quite useful. I'll stow that later. Basically, I need to remove my coffee grinder. And noticed last night, I rang in the new year, basically in Key West, and wasn't as busy. Honestly, since COVID, the pandemic, some call it a pandemic. I'm not going to go into all that conspiracy stuff. But it's just not as busy. And I was speaking with folks. These are total strangers. Not people that I know personally, just people from all over the world that were visiting and basically explaining to me that instead of taking 10 days for the holidays on a trip, to the Florida Keys, only taking 4 days, vacation of 4 days. Just don't have the expendable income or the extra income. The price of everything is much higher. Think about how much you were paying for groceries just 4 years ago. You may be paying, 50, 60, maybe 100% more, twice the price you were paying 4 years ago. Your rent, your utilities, cost of everything has pretty much increased, with the exception of some technology items, but that's the way technology always is. I found the best for using my favorite coffee maker. Seen in some other videos, the cheap Walmart coffee maker, and I don't think it's necessary to display that. And but it brews perfectly into this Contigo. At this point in time, I'm not receiving any endorsements, but I found 5 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 clicks from the coarsest setting is perfect for grind for the. I'm not going to lift it up now. You've already seen it in other videos. Gonna just power this device here, but first I'm going to add some coffee beans. See if we can do this without dropping anything. Normally, I'm not facing you when I'm doing this. This is for demonstration purposes. That's not a bad pour. And in my experience, what is this, about 12 ounces of coffee? Probably, yeah, 12 ounces. coffee beans. They fit pretty much perfectly in this container. And we're going to try not to spill that because you're probably wondering if I was about to. And, my left hand, I drop things. I just got to make sure I don't rely on the tactile sensation of my two fingers that were injured. And again, this year, I think I've given the individuals enough time that are at fault for my injuries a chance to resolve. So probably going to be heading to the judiciary or some type of arbitration or mediation, but things are not settled with me. And, a little bit of wind. Things are not settled with me. Now, I'm going to slide the all the way to the end. That's basically, I don't know what it reads here, 18 cups. I don't know. All I know is I'm going to grind away here. And this container in this Cuisinart holds 2 full grinds. So, and I'll be depositing the ground coffee in here. Now, one of the things that I do is when I occasionally visit a hotel, like I've explained in my video, I don't waste the coffee that they provide. Now, if I can open the stupid thing, we'll see what happens. There we go. I basically, and these things here are rather tricky. Half the time, when you open these things, it actually rips the bag. So what I'm going to do is, while it's grinding, so that I'm not wasting, I'm going to pour these. Little vibration there. Now, unfortunately, I didn't notice, but that one was decaffeinated. And I don't prefer decaffeinated coffee, and I don't like the chemicals they use. Okay, now, the outside of the packaging on that guy, oh, it was labeled decaf. All right, so that's my fault. Anyways, I'm not going to be using that one. I'll dispose of that one. Matter of fact, I'm going to give the coffee grinds to nature. Decaffeinated coffee grinds. And I'll dispose of this properly. See if I can find where this thing tears. There it is. And you can see, it actually tears the container inside. System, room, suite, whatever. It starts to tear the container. And so these things are pretty much worthless anyhow. But what I do is, and they don't taste that great, but when they're mixed with some good coffee, it gives a little bit more of a body. So I don't believe in wasting anything. So basically, there's that container there. Now, we've gone through 2 cycles here. So pull this, and you can see nice ground coffee. And this is a burring grinder. There is a difference. The type that just chop, you'll have an inconsistent grind. These are more consistent. And basically, I just shake the coffee right in there. And you can see how easy that is. Hardly any lost coffee grounds. I was going to shoot this video a couple days ago, but unfortunately, it was quite windy. And, with the wind, this is not a good procedure in the wind. And I don't need to get rid of all of it because we're going to be grinding all of this. And as long as there's a little space in there. All right, start it again. And while we're doing that, like any good culinary provider here, we're going to try to open another one of these. You notice I don't rip it completely. And it's blown away in the wind. Better to keep it together. Easier for me to dispose of. And I'm going to add that. That way I'm getting the best value for my money when I'm these hotels. They often they're overcharging you for the quality of the rooms. I mean, I'm afraid to touch things in hotel rooms, and it really doesn't matter how much money one spends. They just don't. That's another thing. The quality. Used to be years ago. I traveled for business. Much better, quality as far as those cleaning the Cleaning the rooms. Did a much better job housekeeping years ago. Not so much anymore. Looks like I'm getting down to the end here. I don't think I have any more. No. All right. There we go. Now see, if I tear those off, more likely to blow away into the wind. I can always do that. I try not to contribute to litter more than others have. Matter of fact, I just used a public restroom. Toilet paper all over the floor. And, you know, it's despicable behavior. It really is. It really is despicable behavior. And what did I do? I cleaned it. So I fetched toilet paper and I flushed it. You know, and, you know, let no good deed go unpunished. I made sure the buttons were fastened on my shirt before I started leaning over and fetching someone else's carelessness. They couldn't even take the trouble to deposit the toilet paper in the toilet. I know who did it. It's a gentleman that was walking down the highway, wandered into the restroom. He was in there for about 20 minutes. I don't know what, you know, probably taking a bath. You know, doesn't understand how to properly be homeless like myself. You know, it's not easy being a tech boondocker or high tech homeless, but I've made a pretty good play of it here. You know, we're ready to. There we go. Look at that. And see, it's not a bad procedure at all. Now, of course, this is I'm running this off of my electrical system. You know, if I was able to obtain some new batteries at Sam's Club under warranty. I got to say, I don't believe that I've uploaded that video yet. See this? I may upload this one first, but it's coming. You got to understand, folks, that videos require editing. I'm see if there's a little bit more in there. This is a coffee that I prefer. The Members Mark Colombian Supreme Whole Bean. That's the brand at Sam's Club. The reason why I keep the empty container, sometimes people offer to fetch things for me. So if I show them the bag, they know exactly what to fetch for me. So they don't, you know, if they're doing me a favor, I really don't want it to be a wasted favor where they're purchasing something I don't really care for. Always one little fragment of a coffee bean left in there, but you know, does it really matter? It'll be available for the next time. And almost done here, folks. But I'm going to show the whole procedure of stowing everything away. Go. Ready for next time. Powered off. My coffee scoop. And by the way, I clean that regularly. You know, my hand's obviously touching it. Now, basically that just perfectly fits right in the tote there. And I leave the cover on the outlet. And the reason being is I'm often in a salt air environment. So if I do everything I can, keep things floating, see? Fits right inside, as my grandmother used to say, a place for everything and everything in its place. See, there's placemats, so forth. Silicone when I'm preparing food on a picnic table, and get it in there. I have everything oriented a certain way. There we go. And now we're almost ready to travel. My empty bag. And there you have it. I have just ground enough coffee, probably for a month, maybe a little less. I consume, enjoy, drink, 2 to 3 of these per day. It's one of the most important necessities in my digital tech boondocking lifestyle. I don't like using the word digital because digital doesn't really mean technical. People say analog is basically antiquated or old. To be honest with you, analog and digital are both technical. And it's really not. It's kind of a stupid term. It's digital nomad. And that's what a lot of these people call themselves. I think it's actually kind of a poor way of describing themselves. These remote workers. They should, and maybe tech boondocking sounds silly, but that's the term I use because that's actually what I'm doing. Now, this is ready to be disposed of properly. I realize that the bags in there are compostable and so forth, but I don't have. I'm not carrying a compost pile with me as I travel. You can see there you have it. We're basically almost back, ready to brew coffee and enjoy it on the road. I hope all of you were able to ring in the new year and whoops, there we go. That's why. Hey, look at that. Almost missed one. What I was talking about with that wind. It's I always do a roof check before I hit the road because often you'll notice that I set things on the roof, just get them out of the way. And I was interrupted once by a park ranger, and it's the same place, the only park, the state park that I've had an issue with. I've had many issues at community parks, city parks. It's a whole different group, and mainly there's no restricted entry to the parks. And I'm not saying I'm in favor of restricted entry, and there's free parking. So basically, and then the law enforcement they're used to hassling people. They're used to being hassled. So there's a more of a hostile environment visiting community parks. And it's sad to say, it's just the truth. The state parks in Florida, the state park system is fantastic. The rangers are super polite because they're used to being treated politely. And it's a different dynamic dealing with a city police officer and that type of thing. But anyways, I found that basically this whole tech boondocking, which I'm saying digital nomad, better to do things on a friendly basis, and hopefully those kind of interactions will continue for me. I'm looking forward to another year. I've been 14 months now off grid. I was saying off the grid, but what are we off the grid? I am using fossil fuels. I am using propane, and I am using gasoline. Those obviously have to be processed somewhere. They just don't bubble up out of the earth. So I am using society's resources, just like I'm purchasing things that are packaged in a grocery store. So I am still connected with society. I'm just not in a single dwelling, other than this vehicle, Deliberate Perseverance. That's what I've affectionately named it. I know it's a long name, but sometimes people give their dogs real long names, like Poppycock or something, and then they shorten it. But or their cat. I guess that would be a better cat name. Miss Muffins or something. Anyways, but they'll just call her Muffy or something. Kitty. But we get to enjoy life in different ways, and I'm just hoping that there's a better turn this year. I know it's just a calendar. I know it's just a date. It's kind of based on the solstice. It's a few days after the winter solstice. I'm hoping things improve into the next year for everyone viewing and everyone not viewing, the majority of those out there. And I do appreciate the views and the subscriptions and the donations. Although the donations have pretty much, since the election time, I really haven't received any donations per se. I mean, a few here and there. And ever since I did the fundraiser for the veteran, I helped him. That was a disaster. I'm gonna basically shoot some videos about that. How this country really doesn't seem to care about its homeless veterans. And I don't mean to make this political, and maybe I will in the future, but it's really disappointing. Many of the homeless that I meet because of my lifestyle are veterans, and now some of them it's of their own choice. They put themselves in situations because of, but they've gone. Some of them have been through, more than any of us could ever imagine. I mean, how many of us were ever in combat? How many of us were at any point in time we knew that we may have to put our life on the line? That's the sacrifice and the commitment, and I think they should be treated a little better going forward. That's something I may focus on this year. I've been basically just focusing on trying to get all this to work. I've had some issues. Had a couple flat tires in a row. I could have even been sabotage. That's a whole story in itself. But hopefully I'm not going on too long on this one. But you got to see, or using better grammar, you were able to observe grinding coffee beans roadside. It is possible, quite easy, and once a procedure is established, really no mess. Who cares if I would have dropped some coffee beans, ground coffee? Part of nature. It'll actually help these, trees grow better. Anyways, I'll leave that for this video. And again, it's early morning, Monroe County. I'm the Philosopher Pirate, and this is Florida at Large.